Hey everybody, Mo here, and today I'm bringing you guys a deck guide on the Tristana Atrocity deck. So I'm showing you guys some games here. I don't know how we're gonna play. Oops, I don't know what I took out. I took out a minion. I don't know how we're gonna play. Probably like 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, depends on how quick the games are. But yeah, deck's really good. So this deck's kind of popped up lately. It was the highest win rate deck on Runeterra AR for ladder. If you watched my meta Monday, you would know that. So we will be going over this deck, trying to see what it is. I scribbed it, tested it with some of my teammates, with Jordan and Henneke. Henneke's been playing it, kind of gave us a stock list or a list to start off of, and then Jordan kind of tweaked it a little bit, and then we scribbed it to see how good the deck actually is and its specific matchup, see if it matches up what we're trying to do with tournaments, stuff like that. And that's kind of what we landed on, and the deck felt really, really good in scrims. And so now I'm going to play some more on ladder and just see if it continues to feel good against random decks, and then also just kind of show you guys how the deck plays out. But before we get into the in-depth deck guide, I wanted to remind you guys that 68% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to me. So if you do me a huge favor, click that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Keep pumping out this content for you guys. Again, I'm trying for 5 days a week on the YouTube, and then stream on Saturdays, Sundays. So trying to get you guys content every single day. So if you enjoy the Mo content, you can get Mo content on the weekend if you go and follow my Twitch channel. Yeah, so I put videos out here, like I said, Monday through Friday, and then the other 2 days where you don't get Mo content, if you're very sad about that, because I know some of you are, you just love your Mo content, go follow me on Twitch, because I try and stream over there. I stream my tournament runs, I stream all that jazz, especially this weekend. Saturday is an open. It's going to be the first Riot Open, so if you want to see how I do against that, what I end up bringing, all that type of stuff, make sure you go follow me on Twitch. But that's gonna be it for that part. So let's get into the actual deck itself. So Tristana Atro is this like mid-rangey deck that has the potential to go really aggressive when needed. It's not a control deck. It's just very much a mid-range deck that plays you know, like a couple vengeance at the top end for removal, some removal here, cheap removal with hate spike and quietus, pokey sticks, and then outside of that, you're very much just a mid-range deck. You're just going to be playing solid units in the middle, try and gain tempo off of things like 2 mana deal 3. Minion is a great blocker stall tool, and then you're just gonna end the game with either impact burning your opponent out with Teemo and like pokey sticks, or just atrocity, just killing your opponent from a very high life total because your Tristana is very large. So let's go over each card, their purpose in the deck, and kind of explain to you how to play this deck well, how to play this deck correctly. So we'll just start at the top and go down. And then again, this is going to be our more refined list that Jordan came up with that we've been testing. So if it's not the stock list and you're asking about like, oh, why not this card, why this card? If I go over it, it's because we took the card out for a specific reason. If it's not a card in this list, it means it wasn't in the stock list, so we haven't really put too much thought into it. And we're very happy with this list. So 2 Quietus. Oh, oops. Just 2 Quietus. 2 Quietus, this was supposed to be like a split between Group Shot and Quietus, but one, we wanted to make the Ornn matchup good because our other 2 decks are beating Ornn, so we wanted to make sure we beat that. 2, I just don't like Group Shot. I'm not a huge fan of Group Shot. I like it in the broad main decks because it's just, you know, 1 mana Decimate, or sorry, 1 mana Vengeance, but Group Shot, we were like, okay, what does Group Shot actually do? What is it for? And we're like, well, its biggest use will probably be against aggro because we only have like one drop. So if they play a Legion Saboteur on turn 1, I want to be able to have an answer to it. So you just group shot it on turn 1, and we're keeping group shot. So we're like, okay, so we're keeping group shot in the mulligan of the opener. And then we were like, yeah, sure, it's kill off, there you go, chance of a Saboteur or a Spiderling or something like that. And I said, okay, then let's just play Quietus. Because Quietus, we would also keep in the opener, and it would also kill off a Saboteur, but it also helps our Jax matchup by being able to kill off weapons, which is very important. Teemo over Gnar. A lot of people are like, oh, Teemo's a bad card. Gnar's not a bad card. Your top end can get pretty weird because you already have Aloof Travelers. By this point in the game, you're kind of just willing to spit out 1-drops. Like, you want to go Tristana on 3, like Owlcat is like your dream scenario. Of course, that doesn't, you know, really happen. But that is your dream scenario, is just to play Tristana on 3 and then just play out a bunch of units on turn 4 to try and start, you know, buffing your Tristana, leveling your Tristana, and getting that impact damage, and just kind of, you know, running away with the game from there. So Teemo is a very cheap way to level your Tristana, as well as it's not an expensive card like Gnar is. And so having a cheap elusive doing chip damage, and then your puff caps help you burn them out. Like I said, this does win with burn conditions quite often. So having the puff caps in there to burn is really nice. cheap elusive chip damage is really nice. It is a card where eventually your opponent does have to answer it, or it will just win the game. I had a game where I leveled my Teemo and then attacked again. My opponent had 50 puff caps in their deck, and then I just sat there and blocked for 3 turns, and then they died to puff caps. So Teemo is a card that requires an answer, and at the very worst, it's like a 1-mana 1/1, so it's a 1-mana card that can block a Saboteur or something. Bandle City Commando. So the list Henneke sent us actually had 0 Bandle City Commandos, which is kind of wild. The thing that's really good about this deck is that it's a mid-rangey style deck that can play hyper-aggressive if it needs to into some of the control decks and have a good matchup there, which is something a lot of decks can't do. Like Kindred Nasus, people are like, oh yeah, just play aggressive with your like butchers and your, you know, keepers and stuff like this. It's like, that doesn't really have a good time playing aggressively. Like you have a couple of aggressive cards, but overall, you can't consistently aggro them down. With Bandle City Commando and Grandfather Famine to pair them together here, you can consistently play an aggressive plan, an aggro plan, because Hungry Owlcat is really, really good into control. Obviously, the Spell Shield keyword is really good into control, and then just having like a unit buffed up is really good. So if you ever play Grandfather Phase, like, oh, now you're spitting out, you know, 3/1 Spell Shield units that either require a block from your opponent, so they have to, and like, oh, 1 HP, they just get chump blocked, but it's like, yes, but control decks don't typically have a lot of chump blockers anyways, so that's not usually a concern in your deck. But you pair that, obviously you pair with Tristana, and now all of a sudden they're like 4/1s with impact, and even if they do get chump blocked, they're still burning your opponent for 1 damage because impact is cool, as well as this just being a nice elusive, cheap elusive unit. You can just get in, you know, cheap elusive damage, pairs well with the Wandering Shepherd, which we'll get into later. One of Glimpse. I just like Glimpse over the 3rd minion because it can give you more play into control. 3 minion felt kind of clunky because if you ever double draw minion, I just wanted to cry. We already went over Grandfather Fae. Hate Spike, self-explanatory, really good removal spell. Sometimes you can get the Husk, you set it up so you get the Husk, put the Husk on Tristana. Now your Tristana randomly has like Spell Shield or Overwhelm or Elusive or, you know, I think those are really the only keywords that are super good on her. Tough is good to make her not die. So your Tristana is just broken. Minion is a really good stall tool. You can't really use him to be aggro. I know he's like infinite unit, so you can attack with him and not particularly care, but most of the time you just want him to stall. Pokestick, because it's Pokestick, pseudo removal, pseudo burn, draw spell. Bandle City Mayor helps your Tristana level, finds good cards. The fact that Bandle City Mayor can find Weapon Masters is kind of silly. Tristana, I mean, the deck's literally named after her. Tristana's cool. She's you know, makes units big, gives impact, burns, all that type of stuff. Wandering Shepherd. So Wandering Shepherd is really good. It's multi-region, so helps with the Tristana, but also you can improvise onto either Tristana or your elusives and be very happy. I've given Tristana Scout, I've given Tristana Overwhelm, both of those are really good. Same here with the elusives. Like you can, if you don't have Tristana draw, you can kind of get there with the elusives. Give your Teemo Scout, give Bandle Commando Scout, give one of them like a really big weapon, like the big can't block weapon is pretty fine. Just ways to actually like make your elusives real threats now, put your opponent on a clock, very good. At any point in time, you can transfer that weapon over to like a Hungry Owlcat, and now all of a sudden you have this like, you know, 4/3 Spell Shield unit that your opponent just can't deal with. I mean, like 4/3 Fearsome Spell Shield. And it's like, what do they actually do against that? Aloof Travelers, double region for Tristana, and also 4-mana killing. Insert opponent's large, you know, win condition is pretty good. So again, Aloof Traveler killing a Ornn is good. Killing a Swain is good. Leviathan is good. I mean, your opponent's Tristana even sometimes. Like, really just Aloof Travelers is very, very solid. You can, if you time it well, you can probably hit like a tie bulk or a tippers with it. Pretty good. Hits decimates. Hits just about every like late game card your opponent could be playing. It hits that. Buster Shot, very solid 2-mana deal 3. One of some puzzling signposts. This is a card that I wish I had 2 of, but it's very good. It helps you out a lot in the control matchups because most of the time you're either swinging for lethal or swinging for like an absurd amount of damage. They play like, you know, at P&D, they play the like deal 1 damage to everything, or they could play like Withering Wail, or they could play Vengeance on your Tristana, they could play whatever. And then you just like signpost it back to their hand, and if they're not expecting it or not playing around it, sometimes you, like I say, you either just kill them because you're pushing lethal, or you push so much damage that it's going to be fairly easy to burn your opponent out. Vengeance for removal spells, Atrocity to kill them. Bandle City Gunners is like Tristana at home. It has a decent amount of impact, so if it gets blocked, it still burns them out. And then it's a very large spell shielded unit, so at the very worst, it can be like, you know, Bandle City Gunners Atrocity you. So that is kind of, I know that's kind of long, but people like it when I go really in depth on the decks and what each purpose of the cards are. So there's that. Now we're going to go over quick Mulligan. Mulligan's super easy. If you're against aggro matchup, you just want cheap cards. Aggro typical curve is like play 1 drop on 1, 2 drop on 2, 2 units on 3. We can do that. We play Teemo or Quietus on 1 to match that. Turn 2, you play Grandfather Fae or Bandle Commando. And then turn 3, you could play like Bandle City Mayor and then the Owlcat you got off of this, or Bandle City Mayor Teemo, Bandle City Mayor into, you know, anything you got off of Bandle City Mayor, or at the very worst, you just play those 3 units. Oh, you're down -1 unit. You're going to leak a little bit of damage there, but you can easily come back because now you have a Bandle City Mayor in play. You get a bunch of cheap stuff. And, you know, yeah, minions to start, you know, double playing units and stuff like that, or whatever. There's a lot of ways for us to match early aggression, and then we're just going to win late game because we're going to have this ginormous Tristana that they just cannot deal with, Atrocity of them, yada yada, all that type of stuff. Against mid-range, Bandle City Commando is really good because making like 3-1 and 4-1 Owlcats is really good. So again, Bandle City Commando and Grandfather Fae are pretty much always keeps. Tristana is really good into mid-range, especially if they don't actually have ways to kill Tristana. She's really, really solid because obviously she just runs away with the game by buffing everything beforehand. And again, against control, you really, really, really need Bandle City Commando and Grandfather Fae and Tristana, because you just want to like apply pressure. Bandle City Commando is your best card because it just constantly creates these cards that your opponent just can't really deal with. Bandle City Mayor is also really good here too, because for the same reason as you play this bear, you now have a 2/3 body, but also you have a, you know, another body that's creating. So if you create like Tenor of Terror, it's like, well, now you have, you know, it created 3 total threats, and it can get kind of crazy. Anything that could just generate more value against control decks is really good. And then the reason Owlcats are good again is because they're going to be, you know, 3-1 or 4-1, and then the 1 HP doesn't matter because they have Spell Shield, so it can't just be like, you know, Pokey Sticked. It's going to have to be chump blocked, or your opponent's going to have to use 2 cards to kill it. And in that case, your opponent spent 2 cards on a 1 mana free unit, or a 1 mana unit that you got for free out of your deck. So you're very happy there. So general Mulligan guide, always just keep Bandle Commando, Grandfather Fae, probably Tristana. Don't keep Tristana against aggro, but keep Tristana against the other 2. And then, yeah, those are going to be your 3 core keeps. Keep Pokestick if you're against aggro and need it. Quietus if you're against, like, Jax Ornn. Matchup specifics, I'm not going to go into each one because there is a lot of matchups out there. So just kind of have an idea of, like, oh, what does Jax Ornn want to do? It wants to do weapon stuff. Hey, my destroy equipment card is, like, good against that. It's like, oh, what does aggro want to do? They want to spam out units? Okay, well, my, like, cheap units and cheap removal is going to be good against that. Oh, what does mid-range want to do? Or sorry, what does control want to do? They want to try and kill my stuff? Okay, well, I'm just going to, like, keep cards that create more stuff. And, you know, you're going to be pretty happy there. So that's going to be it for the intro. Again, deck guide will be down in the description below. So if you want to play this exact version, you can. Otherwise, I'm sure Runeterra AR has many versions like it. But again, this is the refined version that we're on at the moment, that we're really happy with. Could be refined more, potentially. Everything could probably be refined more. So we'll see if anything changes. I'll let you guys know. And yeah, that's going to be for this intro. Let's get into some games. Oh. Hello? Jax Ornn. Alright. So this matchup should be fine. We tested this matchup a decent amount. Not a decent amount, but we tested the matchup and went 3-0 in it. So we're going to hope that the matchup is good. No Quietus in this hand, but honestly, this hand looks like it can get there. This could be a learning game. Let's learn to see if we could just get there on aggression. And then, like, draw into a Vengeance or Quietus later on. Because this hand looks pretty ideal. Because their deck can't really deal with elusives. So this Teemo is going to get a decent amount of damage in. Drawing the second Teemo is pretty nice here. Lets me level my Teemo early. Okay, click the end turn button. And yeah, we're going to Bandle Commando, Grandfather Fae, and try to hit our opponent for a decent amount. Get some good old 3-1s to kind of trade into these. I wouldn't mind, like, shooting that or blocking that, and then we could draw Pokestick and can get off, but I think my hand's already pretty locked out. Aloof is really good in this matchup because it can kill off Ornn. Nice, we drew our Quietus, so we're kind of gaming. Let's go and just get in for our 2 more chip damage. Let's get our guys. If they play like a Jax or something here, we can just Quietus it. They're definitely setting up for something big. It's just going to be very sad for them when they play this very large combat cook and we just tell them no. So let's go ahead and just Grandfather Fae. And let's just make some 3-1. I can block anything. And then, yeah, they're just going to play their big ol' combat cook. I think I'm actually going to let them even forge it here. I'll just chump block with my 3-1 here. Oh, Tristana's nuts. Let's see. Maybe they get Overwhelm. Yeah, like, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to take all that damage. So we'll just destroy this weapon, make them cry. Play our Tristana. And then just get big ol' Owl Cats. And they should just concede here, unless their hand's, like, really good. But we'll see. We'll see what they got cooking. Yeah, nice 2-2. And then, I mean, none of their attacks really matter. I'll block a 1-2 with my 1-2s. I'll do like this. Just try and save HP where I can. Because Overwhelm is like the toughest thing to deal with. Here's the Tristana though. And yeah, we're gonna get like a 4-1 Owlcat. Good old 3-3 Impact Aloof Travelers. Classic. Oh, nice. We can get even bigger Owlcats. We can get even bigger Owlcats. And then, yeah, this is typically how this matchup goes. And like, even if they have a way to kill the Tristana or have a way to do like Frostbite it, stuff like that, they don't even have something big now. So that pulled an Ornn, but Ornn costs 7 mana. And we're going into turn 6, so I can just aloof it next turn and not be worried in the slightest. I do kind of want to Hungry Owlcat this Fae just to swing, but I'm down to just do something like this. Force them to block this Hungry Owlcat, and then just play another one. Yeah, like this is fine. We still push damage. I'm half tempted just to play this Teemo Shroom. I think I'm going to, just to try and burn them out with the Teemo Shrooms. And like burning them out is definitely a thing you can do in this deck. A lot of my scrim games actually came down to Jordan being at like 3 HP, and the last 3 damage came from like mushrooms plus pokey sticks, or you know, once you get them low enough, your impact, I count your impact units as burn, because I mean they are, right? Like they can block them, but you're still taking damage. We don't need to play a Owlcat quite yet. I think I'm going to, just so I have a blocker on the open attack. But we don't really need to play them. And then honestly, we don't even need them to be that big anymore. We kind of just need them to have impact from Tristana. And then, yeah, we're just going to Aloof Traveler. So they can do that. I can actually play out both Mayor and Travelers, but let's just do Aloof Travelers here. Go ahead and get rid of their Ornn. Nice. And we drew a Buster Shot, so we can just go ahead and kill this Combat Cook. And this game is looking fairly over. Even if they have Troll Chant to keep it alive, they're just going to take too much damage. Their Puff Caps are going to go to 50 because they have to Troll Chant on defense here, which means they can't Troll Chant my Teemo. Yeah, pretty free. So this deck should do well into aggro. It's actually the thing that makes this deck so insanely strong, is I feel like being able to pivot from a control deck to an aggro deck, like an actual legitimate good aggro deck, is very, very impressive and very good. A lot of decks can't really do that. Like there are some decks like the Nora deck where like you're a really, really good control deck, you're a really, really good stall deck, but if you need to be aggressive, you're actually not too good at that. I think I'm gonna pass because I want to be able to kill off any 1-drop they play here so they can't open attack me. And then just get good trades. And I'd rather do that than play Teemo and attack. So yeah, we're gonna go in Quietus here. And then we're just going to stop them from doing that. So they have to develop into my minion. If they develop anything except for the 2-3 predict unit, we're really happy. And this play was pretty decent. If they develop the 2-3, yeah, then we can be quite sad. We still get a nice little minion block. And then next turn we can just go like Tristana stall and be fine. We could also just do like Bandle City Mayor and Teemo, which is probably what we'll do. Because Bandle City Mayor also gives me a pretty decent block onto the Snapjaw. So let's go and do that instead. So this, oh, give me a barrier blocker is very, very good. Combat Hook's alright, but I think the 1-mana barrier blocker is really good. So that guy is pretty fine. We're going to play Teemo. Don't get baited too much into like, oh, I have to slam Tristana on 3 to get my +1 attack. Like, that's definitely nice, but if I would have slammed Tristana on 3 here, I wouldn't have been able to attack, and then my opponent has both of these units to just my Tristana. My Tristana can, like, block Chronomancer at best. They open attack me. I'm taking, like, you know, 4 damage here probably. And it just doesn't look good. Also, if they ended up having the Snapjaw Swarm and then hit like Rek'Sai or anything like that, things can just get pretty bad pretty quickly. So we are going to do this. We are going to take this 4 simply because we just have so many blockers future on, and that we're probably fine. They have, it's not a blind lurk. They lurked on 2. Death from below, Pike. So that's pretty good for us because that means that they're not... I mean, that they're not going to have Death Below from our Tristana, because this was a blind lurk, so they've lurked twice. Once they predicted into Pike, the second one was, in fact, blind, so that is pretty good. So we will play Tristana now, because we get to immediately go to our turn and play cards. We're going to open with the minion, so that way if they do have Snapjaw Swarm, we have a decent blocker. We have a nice way to kill their Pike, which is pretty good. Yep, Snapjaw Swarm, so we have a good blocker here with our minion, because he just simply comes back. We will play this guy, give him barrier. I know we said we were going to use him on defense, but this is pretty fine too. Get a nice attack in here. They're going to have to sack their 2-1 to either block the Tristana or the 3-2. And then this guy still blocks and kills this because of the +1 attack from Tristana. We have Buster Shot to try and kill this Pike, but I'm trying to bait it out because if they have the Pike spell, they just use it here. So this kind of tells me that they don't just have second Pike in hand. Now, obviously, they for sure don't have second Pike in hand. So this matchup is looking pretty free. We also know that they don't have, like, Rek'Sai. They also don't have Pike spell, because this came from the left side. This also came from the left side. I wasn't doing full hand tracking, but I kind of saw... I know this for sure came from the left side. So this is either what they top decked, or they played something that they top decked, and we're chilling here. So Vengeance... So we're not actually going to Vengeance that yet, because it's not too scary. We're just going to play this minion. And we're just gonna, like, board wipe them, right? Like, we're gonna block everything except for the 6-3. So we just go, like, here, here, kill this thing. We could even trade with this, but we don't really need to. And I can keep Vengeance for future turns and be pretty okay with all of this. So this looks fine. We could block with Teemo if we really, really wanted to, and then just get, like, an Impact 2 on Teemo. That doesn't sound too bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we can keep ourselves kind of healthy. Double Vengeance. Okay, so now this is kind of a punt because we have a Vengeance to deal with it. And we don't have to be, like, super conservative with our Vengeances. Or with our 1 Vengeance because we have a second one now. Whereas the first one, you're like, oh, I, like, absolutely need this for Rek'Sai. But now you don't really need to say that anymore. So let's go and do this, see what we get. Hopefully something decent. Aloof Traveler is really good. It can get rid of their 8-drop. It can get rid of... you know, Pike spell, if they're being greedy with it, can get rid of a Rek'Sai potentially. Okay. Okay, so let's go and see what they get. Let's see what they put on top. We can go and get rid of it. Okay, cool. There's another big Titan, so again, very solid. We can go ahead and Pokestick this. Sure, I'll block with my Mayor, because Mayor's done his job. So they natted a Rek'Sai, but this is fine. We're kind of just pushing, like, insane amounts of damage. They literally have to block Tristana with this Xerxai. And yeah. So they have to block Tristana or they just die. And we can just Vengeance the Rek'Sai that they drew, and we're pretty happy. And yeah, this game wasn't particularly close. You have your big removal for their, like, final top big end. They even drew the Pike. It was pretty good. But Tristana just creates way too much pressure. We have Pokesticks to kill their small things. We had the... you know, just like infinite blockers with minions, so we're able to just trade our 2-drop unit for their 3-drop unit, stuff like that. In here, we can just simply block everything. Like, we don't have to take any more damage. Our minions get us there. Our impacts get us there. We know they're drawing Rek'Sai, so we can just simply kill Rek'Sai on sight, and they can concede. Like, see what I told you that our burn plan is a thing. Yep, they play Rek'Sai, we vengeance Rek'Sai, we play minion, we're chilling. Cool. And that's how that goes. Yeah, so you just apply like too many blockers, and that's kind of just how like the typical aggro matchup goes too. Unless they literally open with like 6 1-drops, you should be chilling. You don't have a good time dealing with like super wide early boards, but if they are just playing like a unit on 1, a unit on 2, unit or 2 on 3, you can usually like match that. Like if they go like a typical aggro curve and not high roll is like unit on 1, unit on 2, 2 units on 3. And they're going to be 4 wide on turn 3. And this deck can easily just go like either unit on 1 or have an answer to unit on 1 because of Quietus. And then go unit on 2, unit on 3. Sometimes if you have a Mayor hand, you can easily play 2 units on 3 because you just go play Mayor, play Owlcat, play Mayor, play Teemo. And then now you have, you know, all those. And I was going to cut in between games here, but like let's just go in. So far we're 2-0. Let's see how this goes. So we're against an aggro version. So this is a Reveler's Feast deck. So this is not the same as ours. We are more controlling-ish. And this deck is heavily aggro. So Blister Shot is fine if it can come online early. We're going to go ahead and keep it because I think there are much worse cards we can get the Buster Shot. Tristana is kind of okay, but we don't really need that. We're really looking for like Grandfather Fae and Vandal Commando. Grandfather Fae and Vandal Commando really help us with the... we're not going to take this block. We can block it later, but I want to get at least one attack it with my Teemo. Okay, we can hopefully Quietus whatever that was. We'll see. Pokestick. Okay, so maybe I should have just taken that trade later on the Pokestick. That's fine. Simple 2-1. Like I said, Bandle City Mare should help us be good. Wow, we were just not drawing units here. That is pretty rough. I'm actually tempted to just slam down this Tristana, but just so I have access to the Buster Shot. And they can't start doing crazy stuff with their Bandle City Mare. So I don't really care if I lose this Tristana because I have a second one in my hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill this off before they start getting value from it. And like I said, if they do have like the Pokestick or the, you know, whatever to kill off this Tristana, I probably don't care too much. All right, let's do some of this. Minion is good. Minion stalls, minion, I can immediately play the minion, so I'm pretty happy. Yep, we can just pass here. We can just block this thing forever with our minion. We drew Atrocity, which is going to be a good late game. Tenor of Terror is kind of whatever, because we can just Quietus here. And then we can Pokestick. Again, we just block minion onto the 5/4. Sure. I mean, we can just go and Pokestick this now, because there's no way they're going to target that with the Pigeon, and there's no reason to give them an option to waste our mana. So, if they swing with Pigeon, we block. If they swing with Pigeon, hit this, we block the 5/4. Like, that Pigeon is not scary. So it looks good. So we have Bandle City Mare, so we get -2 on whatever we draw. There's our Commando we've been looking for. -2 on Shepherd is, like, really good. Yeah, -2 on Shepherd is really good, and it still allows us to play the Bandle City Commando. Shepherd is very solid on both Tristana and Commando, but we're going to go on to the Tristana, see if we can give it HP or, like, yeah, Overwhelm, Scout, Unit. All of these are really good. Let's go and pick Scout, because that also transfers over to the Bandle City Commando very well. So let's go ahead and just swing with Tristana. Okay, so this looks like they're setting up for like a big Reveler's Feast, so we're probably gonna have to block everything next turn and just say like, hope we get there. So we can do this, and yeah, like I said, we're just gonna attempt to block everything. We're also getting them like really low into Atro range. There's a chance we could have like swung with more things, but all of our attacks are just like not very good. So this very much looks like an open attack into Reveler's Feast. Pokestick, sure. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm gonna do this just so they don't get value off of that anymore. And then my Husk can be really good for Tristana. That Husk isn't too great for Tristana, so we're just going to go and play aloof and hope to hit something good out of their hand. Hit Decimate, that's good. We have a Deny for Decimate anyways. That that's kind of whatever. So we'll just pass, and we'll just block with like probably just Bandle City Mayor. Yeah, we'll just block with Bandy Siddle Mayor. We will Hungry Owlcat. Yep. And we can just block up here. Our goal is just to not die, so as long as we don't die, we're gonna be fine. Right? Like we just do something like this, go to 5. That's a pretty healthy number. And then, yeah, I mean, we just have Tristana plus, I mean, we can even block this for free. We can block this for free. So we just take like literally 0 damage here. And then we have deny for anything that could kill my Tristana. I have Tristana leveled. We're going to, we also have 7 power Tristana for Atrocity. So, oh, double Atrocity is pretty cool. So, we have 9 mana, which means we can like upcycled rake this and have Atrocity mana, which I kind of like. So let's go ahead and do something like that. I don't really know how they can ever kill my Tristana without just multiple cards here. I don't know their deck list. I think they kind of just like lose, but I could be wrong. So let's just go ahead and play minion, and let's just try and get them like super low with the okay, well, let's go ahead and do this and just get them like really low. If they have second Nor for like Wallop, we have Atrocity and just kill them on the spot, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good if you ask me. Sure, looks good, looks good. I probably should have pulled the 5-2. Okay. And then I think we can just wait to Atrocity until next turn. I could have played my Owlcat and still had 7 mana open. But yeah, we could just Atrocity this turn and then have Puzzle. They should just open attack with, what's it called? But I don't think they're going to do that. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I think we're just going to take that damage. We're going to simply play a minion. And then again, our goal is just to not take any damage. We can attempt to just kill them with the impact from Tristana. So we just go like block, 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 block. And like that looks good to me. They have to spend a whole bunch of mana to attempt to kill us here. And then in which case we just Atro. And if they don't spend a bunch of mana to kill us here, then obviously they just aren't going to kill us. And then we can just attack with this Tristana with 3 impact and be happy. Yep, so like I said, they're going to spend a bunch of mana here, attempt to kill us, and we are going to Atrocity their face. And then if they have deny, we can just simply deny it back. If they have, you know, whatever, we have whatever back. So yeah, double Reveler's Feast sounds good. We just simply kill them. Cool. And there you go. You guys just got back-to-back games. Show you guys that I don't just cut out the losses. If I do have losses, I usually show you if it was an actual game. A lot of times losses are non-games. Like, it's kind of just like, oh, I like drew an unplayable hand, or opponent drew an unplayable hand, or something like that, and kind of whatever. But there you go, 3-0 so far. Yeah, let's go to the new game. And most of the time I just cut because it gets rid of the like downtime in between queuing up and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go to the next game. Evelyn Viego. Let's see what we got going on here. What is they cooking? I mean, this hand's pretty good. So I could have kept the Pokestick, because with most Evelyn decks, you kind of just like, they play Evelyn on 3, you kill their Husk, and then they concede. Because they just have like a 0-5 for the rest of the game. That was the old Evelyn play pattern. I don't know if it's the same. I know Evelyn Viego just won a tournament this weekend. Pretty decently sized tournament, so who knows, man? Maybe the deck is like good. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the deck is like good. Here's Bandle City Commando. Start printing out our Owlcats. Owlcats are so good. Those things are so good. Whitest for Timo? Yeah, that is not the correct target. Something I noticed, or something you guys can learn from, is a lot of people misevaluate their threats from the opponent's side. And a lot of people just assume like, oh, champion equals good, or champion equals better. I'll be honest with you, Timo is in here as just a turn 1 way to level up my Tristana. And that's it. Like, that is all she does. I kind of want to slam this Tristana down. We're kind of sad into Husk, but or Hate Spike. But if it's not Hate Spike, we can probably just like Wandering Shepherd and stuff. Let's see what they want from us. Let's go ahead and just play Owlcat. Get decently sized Owlcat. Let's see if they still hold open Vengeance mana. They do not hold open Vengeance mana. So this is pretty good looking for me, or for, in my opinion. Let's go and just do this. Swing. If they try for some type of Hate Spike shenanigans, we have Pokestick. Elusive. I really don't want them to have an elusive anything, but because we have Vengeance, I just like don't care. We can play this. Start trying to level up our Tristana and get her out of that the range of that one card. The reason I'm not Pokesticking the elusive thing right now is because I just don't want to get Hate Spiked. Okay, so very cool, Evelyn you have there. Oh my goodness, Evelyn. And yeah, we can just simply, we can even just like double Buster Shot it, which is kind of funny. Because it has elusive, but we can just block if we need to. I kind of like the idea of just double Buster Shotting this. And then keeping my Vengeance for like a Viego. I wish I had more mana for the, like, to have Deny open also. But I don't. I think I'm just going to eat this 6 also. I think I'm fine with that. I'll trade my Owlcat for this. Yep, I'll trade my Owlcat for this. I think I am going to eat the 6 damage. And then we can do this to protect her from Hate Spike. I mean, Scout is good. Now Tristana doesn't die to Hate Spike. And we can do some of this. And now, if they have Hate Spike, they have to have like Hate Spike plus Vile Feast, or like double Hate Spike or something. Nice. So this was the whole time, the whole game plan was to play around the Hate Spike card. And it worked. Like, they can't Hate Spike us, really at all. So Tristana is cool. Not the best, but is cool. We get Scout here. I assume they're just gonna like slam a Viego, and if they do that, we can just Vengeance the Viego. And they're gonna have an Encroaching Mist, but my board compared to theirs is going to just be illegal. Caramel Soldier, sure. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. We're just gonna do some of this then. Don't need to risk my like Owl Commando and stuff. Yeah, get your little block in. You could have Pokesticked this to try and force him to block with a 4/4, but I'm not in too much of a risk, and I'd much rather like Pokestick this probably. Yeah, I think I want to Pokestick this. See what they got. Okay, Grandfather Fae is great. It makes our Owlcats Gigantimundo. Yes, that is a word. That is a source of measurement. Can confirm. Source me. That is a Hydravine that is deceased. And yeah, and you just lose the game because I have this really large unit that you can't really deal with. I have Deny to make sure you can't deal with it. I'm down to just sack my cards here. Like, yeah, I'm totally down to just sack my cards. We just do this, we do this. I take 2, go to 6. We can Buster Shot this Camavoran Soldier. I'm going to play my Hungry Owlcat first, so that way I can get the buff from Grandfather Fae. I probably could have even blocked with my Vandal City Commando, is probably more correct, just to push more damage, but find it hard for my opponent to beat me at this point, especially with this Deny backup. Sure, sounds good to me. We're gonna do something like this. And then just like with this much amount of impact, it's just really hard for my opponent to do stuff. Like, we're gonna play Owlcat just simply because I want the impact. I want the extra point of impact for my Tristana. Try to kill our opponent here. I'm a Born Soldier. Sure. We have this. Sounds good. This is going to hit you for 4. Vengeance. I mean, we have Deny. And you didn't Ghost Block, so you're dead. Always Ghost Block, kids. There's no reason to not Ghost Block. No reason to not Ghost Block. You always Ghost Block. Because if I don't have Deny, then your Vengeance goes off anyways and my Tristana dies. If I do have Deny, you're not just dying. You know, you can have a chance to not die. So always Ghost Block. Okay, let's get one more game in here so we can get good old 5-game sample size. All right, sorry, I forgot to hit the record button in the when we're queuing up, but I haven't mulliganed yet, so it's fine. So again, another aggro deck. We played this aggro deck earlier. I don't know if it's the same person, but it's the same deck as earlier that we saw, the Reveler's Feast aggro style deck. So we have our Grandfather Fae, which is really good because again, Grandfather Fae allows us to match their their aggro decks average is like turn 1 turn 1 unit, turn 2 unit, turn 3 2 units. I'm okay to trade. I don't want to trade this again because we have the Pokey Sticks this time. This isn't going to get too much damage in. Let's see what they got here. But maybe I'm supposed to trade it because like my 1 damage is not going to be worth their 2 damage when all I'm trying to do is stall for my Tristana anyways. We'll see. So let's see what they got here. They got 1 drop. Yep, 2 drop, 2 drop. But now my Teemo can block like this Hungry Owlcat, which is going to be much more hard for them to deal with. And then so Bandle City Mare. So I wish I had a way to actually kill this Bandle City Mare, but I don't. That's fine though. I think we can actually just play this onto my Teemo, and then I'm down to trade my Mayor for... Okay, cool. We'll get some spell mana. That helps out a lot in the aggro matchups. And they play Owlcat, and I'm down to just like sack one of these 2 for my Owlcat. For the Owlcat, probably like the 1/2. Because the 2/2 can kill off the Mayor if needed. Sure, like, I'm down to do something like this. Maybe even block with the Teemo here. This is like a super aggressive line. But my hand is also like fairly bad. I think I kind of need this to get a 3-power unit, but we're just going to try and save HP here. This hand is much worse than any other hand we've had so far. So we're going to see if it can still... If it can still get there. We're really only like... Sheesh. We're really only like 1 good card away from being able to come back. But if they just like flood the board here and then open attack Reveler's Feast, we probably just lose. I would really enjoy getting Aloof Traveler right here. Aloof Traveler would be nice for me. Yep. We're just going to simply play this card and just be sad. Hopefully this doesn't get an HP card. It's just like overall more quick attack. Nice. So usually what I would do is I would just let this attack me. But because our hand is so bad and because they don't have 2 mana right now, I'm going to go ahead and kill this and then hopefully draw a playable unit, which I don't. That's funny. It's like the only unit that I can't play right now. And that's okay. And the reason I would let that attack me is because I can always just Pokey Stick it, you know, when it attacks because I have a fast speed spell, so I'm going to use it at fast speed. Again, no unit. This is, again, just a very low roll hand, but I think these are good games to kind of show, to kind of, again, let you guys know that, you know, decks aren't perfect, and, oh, God. Yeah, see, like here, they're just going to go super wide, and if they have Reveler's Feast, we just die, because we drew, like, literally the most expensive cards in our entire deck. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes there's just not much you can do about it. You can yell and cry about RNG, but, like, that doesn't really help you in any way. This being a 3-power would have been nice, so maybe I am supposed to just keep my guy alive. So here's a Tristana. And the crazy part is they went under Reveler's mana, which is really nice. They had this fix 'em upper, but they don't play it, so that's nice. Okay. So we're not like in the most absolute worst disgusting spot we could be in, which is nice. We are going to simply just Vengeance this guy. I'm kind of wondering if I should block this instead and Pokey Stick, but this is probably fine. We take 5, which is not a good number to be taking. That is a lot of damage. Like, I mean, they only have so many cards left in their deck. We don't really have life gain. So we can't bleed out too much more damage. But hopefully we just start drawing units that are playable. Like, there we go. That's a very good unit. Very good playable unit that we have there. We like drawing those. Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and hit with my Teemo. Or attempt to hit with my Teemo. They can do that. If they want to trade Teemos, or trade with my Teemo, I'm fine with that, because like Teemo is not how I'm winning this game. Like, that's fine by me, because I just need like blockers, man. I just need to have blockers that can do stuff. I don't care about going 1-for-1, and that's a pretty good card that I'm just simply not gonna be able to deal with and probably lose the game because of it. Yeah, I mean, we will pokey stick this just to try and draw into more playable cards, but very, 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 very bad hand against an aggressive deck. That aggro decks just don't let you have bad hands, because if you have a bad hand, they just run you over. And it is what it is. Shit like that happens. They should just open attack me into Reveler's Feast, Decimate, and I just die. But if they don't have Reveler's Feast, then we maybe have a game here. We maybe have a game here. The thing is, I really just like want to vengeance this. I think if I'm not vengeancing that, I'm probably dying. So, and if I'm gonna vengeance it, I might as well just vengeance it right now. But look at all these 3 HP units, and I just don't have a 3 HP or a 3 damage unit. Like, I can just chump block forever. So let's just play Vandal City Mayor. Hope we get some amount of playable cards. I think it just has to be Hothead. So if they develop that, we have a blocker. We have Hate Spike here, which is like, okay, I guess, like not the best card to have, not the worst card to have. That's fine, we can just Hate Spike that, and we pass. And we at least have a way to kill things now, which is nice. So we can do like this, it's fearsome. Sure, so we have like this, this. And we can just do this and take 1 damage. That seems pretty not bad to me. Seems pretty not bad to me. Being relatively healthy. Getting a spike. I mean, if this is Overwhelm or Elusive, we're like chilling. Challenger is also really good. Yeah, and there's a chance we're still in this game somehow. Don't ask me how. But I mean, all we need is like Atrocity, right? And this game is still very much a game. Tristana good. Okay. Here is Tristana. Here is Tristana. Decimate. That is a card. That is a card that you are allowed to have. Okay, I'm trying to think of, is there any way for me to push stuff here? So, and I don't really think there is. I mean, I can do this just because I need to have stuff. I could like shoot this guy down and then swing, which is kind of cool. Let's just do this and see if they have like, I don't even know what they could have. I'm thinking I kind of just want to like kill them. They could also have like a Gnar. Gnar is very frustrating to deal with. So yeah, let's just do this. Get our 1 damage in. See if they have Gnar, what they have. That's fine. What is their last card in their hand? Is it possibly like, it could possibly be Reveler's Feast, which if that's the case, I think I kind of just have to vengeance whatever card goes unblocked. Very good. Okay. I mean, we have a game. We most certainly have a game. Yeah, so we just do like this, this. And if they have Reveler's Feast, I don't care. Like if my Tristana dies, I don't think I care. Reveler's Feast off the top. Okay. So what we can actually do is we can Vengeance and Signpost, and then they just like lose everything. And they have to play a unit bigger than 3 HP. So Signpost got rid of his weapon, so he lost quick attack and 2 power. They have to play a unit here bigger than 3 HP, or they just die. Decimate. Okay. And I think that's it, because I don't think they can actually win. So we're going to do this, give our Tristana some HP. Sure, can't block, doesn't matter. Wow, we actually won that game. Pretty cool. That shows you guys, just keep a level head. Keep a level head, don't tilt. No matter how bad your draw is, just play the game. Just keep calm. Keep calm, play the best you can. Recognize what you need to do. Notice how I'm at like such a low HP number because I've saved as much damage as possible. Just have to recognize, hey, I don't have life gain. Hey, this deck has a decent amount of burn. So I really just need to, you know, try and find a way to keep my life total as preserved as possible. So that way, when it comes to the late game and they're playing those Decimates and they're playing those Reveler's Feast and they're playing those Pokey Sticks, you know, you're not at such a low enough number. Because if I was at 1 here, I could still very much lose. Because they could just top deck Pokey Stick, right? But because I'm at 2, because I was really aggressive at saving life early on and sacrificing my Grandfather Fae and not being too cheap with my HP, I guess, like, or not being too risky with my HP, I guess is the better term. I'm at, you know, I saved 1 extra point of HP somewhere, and now I'm not for sure not dead, because there's nothing they can do that deals 2 HP at fast speed with no units in play. Like, they could possibly Fervor if they had a unit in play, but we would have shot the unit down anyways. And then now if they top deck Pokey Stick, they're just going to be upset. Like, oh, I left them at 1. I was 1 damage short. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy game. Oh, it looks like they just alt F4 because of how fast their timer is going. So cool, works out for us. So that is the Tristana Atro deck. Deck is pretty good. That's a nice little 5-0 streak to show you guys. Thought it was going to be 4-1, but even shows you that on some of its worst draws, you can still get there if you just keep a level head and keep a level head. Don't tilt. Don't get angry. Don't yell and scream at Alt F4. So there you go. I will have the deck code down in the description below, like I said in the intro. So if you want this version of the deck, which is the version we kind of fine-tuned, and by we, I mean just Jordan, the version that Jordan fine-tuned, it will be down in the description below. Shout out to him. Shout out to Henneke for getting us on this list in the first place. And a shout out to Jordan for tuning it. Deck is really good. And a shout out to me for giving it to all of you guys. So yeah, deck's very solid, very, very, very solid meta contender right now. So it's kind of new, so we don't really know the matchups, and the stats on it aren't very great because the matchups being played aren't of the highest quality, and there's also just not too many matchups of it being played. So not too well known on the matchup table. I know it beats Ornn Jax fairly well, beats Aggro fairly well, should beat most control, beats Noxus control, that's not Nora Broadmain, but it'll beat like Bilgewater Noxus, it'll beat the Noxus P and Z decks, because you just like go aggressive, they don't have any life gain, and then you eventually just slam Tristana, you know, Atro, or you slam like Bandle Gunner's Atro, or you just burn them out because you just have 6 wide impact units, and Noxus control's biggest weakness is they can't draw cards. So you just consistently refill your board, and they cannot just consistently remove it because they just don't have the cards to do that. Let's see, your Rise matchup I'm pretty sure is really good, but God bless Rise, dude. Fuck that deck. So in tournament you're just probably banning Rise anyways, but the Rise matchup is pretty good. So yeah, this deck seems solid all the way around. Be interesting to see how it develops and how people find ways to counter it and beat it. Deck's good. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below what you think of the Tristana deck, if you like this version or the Reveler's Feast version more. I personally, again, like this one a lot. Very cool. Let me know down below what deck you want me to see do next on Deck Guide Over. And if you enjoy these deck guides, cool. Join the Discord, link down in the description below. Like, subscribe, comment, all that type of stuff for the YouTube algorithm. Super appreciate it. We just hit 8,000 subscribers, which is fucking insane. And that makes me so incredibly happy. I would have never believed we could hit a number like that when I started doing YouTube, so that's absolutely crazy. Huge thank you to you guys. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.